welcome. Today is Monday, October 5th. No, wait, October 6th. I literally cannot read for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, it's going to be a great week ahead of us. I think there's amazing setup setting up. In fact, this week is really the first weekly open from the previous monthly close, right? So let's start off with USDTD. And would you look at that? I literally just pulled this up. I literally wrote this up and I was like, okay, it either pushed up to this high and rejected or it went straight down. And honestly, it did. This is great. This is perfect. Exactly what I want to see here. The draw that I had is still going to be on the high time frame on the monthly and the weekly at the 3.71, right? So that's a monthly draw, meaning the high time frame, it wants to seek this level. It wants to seek this level. How it gets down here is the other question, right? From this range, this is actually quite bearish because we did close dailies already under 4.48. Right, we swept all this levels. You see, we actually tapped into the bearish levels here. And then we even swept this daily above at 4.6. This is exactly the kind of range that I wanted to see from the open. But I was surprised because I think really when it comes to weekly opens, I'm literally always surprised, because they surprise you no matter what happens. We cleared these lows. We cleared most of them. And if anything, I would say we're now drifting towards slightly bearish territory, right? It's weird. It's kind of funny how things like that happen. Because if we start to close above 4.22, right, 4.22 right here, I'm going to move this line over just a tad. Then really what I would expect is a retest of 4.48, right, somewhere up here. That's going to be sometime this week. And what's weird is that like everyone this week, I wanted to open bearish, but this week actually we opened bullish, right, across the board. Some pretty big pumps, right? Bitcoin at all-time highs, etc., making new all-time highs yet again. Now the question is, where do we go from here, right? So my bias is leaning towards bullish on the high time frame still, with a slight neutrality against this new weekly open. So if you're in longs that's not in profit, don't worry, is the first thing I want to say. If you're in longs that are in profit, then, great. You can take a tiny trim and then basically just keep adding. Bias here is effectively if we see pullbacks, you long into the pullbacks, right? Because if we see this week, we get a pullback, then this would actually be a bearish retest of multiple previous ranges above 4.48, right? So USDTD, I think we have that kind of locked in. For the most part, I'm actually mostly in a bunch of longs still from the swings. I got in a little early, sure, fine, whatever, but it's better to be early than wrong. But for what it's worth, I'm now looking at some shorts. I'm starting to scale into some shorts. I just added an Aster short. It's a tight range, but it's pretty decent. I have a Sol short as well. BTC, shorting BTC here is a little bit iffy because its range is a little bit wider. I think I had this up, but it's kind of inaccurate now. But really what I want to see here is I want to see some sort of retracement, right? I want to see some sort of retracement to flip this previous range, right? We want to go back in and retest this. We broke the high, right? Now, structurally, the only thing that makes sense with Bitcoin is we need to have a bullish retest of what we would consider the balance of the previous range, which is where the buyers and sellers, right, the halfway point between the buyers and sellers of the previous range. And that's kind of basically right under the 120 area. So 120K is kind of like my bias here. So if we can go and dip into 120K, probably in the next, I'm going to say week or so, maybe this week, maybe next week, this would actually structurally set us up for what's to be probably like a really, 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 really impulsive bullish move. If we can make daily closures above this range now, right? We want to see the dip below 120. And then we want to see the daily closure back above 120. It's really quite simple. It's not even that hard. So if you want to do it yourself, I would just say look for alerts. Set your alerts at 120. I'm not going to play Bitcoin because its range usually is really terrible and it's very manipulated. I really don't like playing it. But if you would like to, I would advise looking at 120, marking it out, saying the daily closure underneath, give yourself an alert, and then wait for the structure to form on that range. Don't just ape into some longs just because that's the range. What you want to see is, oops, I just pressed the wrong button. What you want to see is you want to see the actual wick into that range and then the flip of that range, meaning the dailies have to then close back above 120 after it taps into below 120, right? Then that would actually bring us to our first standard deviation extension, Bitcoin at 141 to 150. Those are the first targets that I would have to short. Yes, I'm going to short it. I'm going to short it at this new all-time high if we do this thing right now. Right now, shorting it, a little bit more iffy because it's more of a bullish retest. Shorting a bullish retest is not always the best idea from this range. But after we do this extension, one thing to note too is that we do have quarterly opens that go all the way down. I think an open is, right down here. This one never tapped. This is the weirdest thing about the quarterly chart on Bitcoin is this one actually never cleared and flipped this order block of liquidity under 74. This is kind of like a weird hint to me. And we have an open here, right here, if you notice, right below 114. So we actually have two quarterly opens here. Now, what does this say? This says that the chart and the market makers are leaving breadcrumbs for us. The breadcrumbs are, we're topping out on Bitcoin. I know some people don't like hearing that, but the next move up, sure, if we can sustain it, we'd have to actually make monthly and weekly closures above 125 at minimum after that, right? So even here, this retest, we would have to flip 125. So the RR for a short between 141 and 150 becomes much higher because even if we consolidate under 125, it's effectively going to be topping out from there, right? So I do foresee some sort of flippening happening, and it's already playing out, right? I think I mentioned this in previous streams before. If you check out the ETH BTC chart, this is the same thing. The same thing has happened. I've had this on for weeks, if you guys remember, when we were talking about the bottom from back here in July. And I literally just pulled this chart up, right? I have my paths already planned out. What I want to see is teal or yellow, but in reality, the draw is still going to be the 0.4 on ETH BTC. Now, this monthly, everyone has said, oh, ETH flippening, is it going to ever happen? And you keep seeing all of this going down and down and down. But what you don't realize now is you see every single one of these wicks, and I'll mark them in green, right? Every single one of those wicks is someone's inherent stop loss. There's liquidity at that level. Yes, this is an ETH BTC chart. You can't trade this directly unless you're using some other, I think some assets you can do. But like, it is so densely packed on the monthly. This liquidity is just so densely packed that really what I would expect is when we then break and mount the next range, whether it's the 0.3 or the 0.2, basically one of these two ranges that I have marked out from yellow, right? From yellow, teal, or orange, we basically have three spots we can bounce from. When we do that, the next move up, it's going to shred through all of this liquidity. And we're going to basically just be moving into a completely new higher range. So even if we do retest from there, guess what's going to happen, guys? On the monthly chart, ETH is going to be flipping Bitcoin. It's happening right now, right? We already cleared this low. It's just a matter of time before it happens. It's really just a matter of time. So Bitcoin's topping out. That's still my high time frame thesis. Ethereum's going to overtake it. Also my high time frame thesis. Even if it's indirectly, right, through ETH layer 2s or whatever, what have you. Ethereum as the concept, as a chain, and any spin-off chains effectively will be overtaking Bitcoin. Again, it's the same amount of time because even if Bitcoin consolidates, you guys know what happens. Even if Bitcoin consolidates, you end up seeing total 3 just friggin' rocket, right? Or you end up seeing others, others BTC also rocket. And in fact, I have others BTC. Literally, this is hilarious because I drew this up. I think what is it, last week when we went over it, guys? Remember? And look, I said, well, I'm not going to be long micro caps until we get into yellow. And guess what? I literally pulled this chart up. I'm not lying to you, right? I literally just pulled it up. I didn't draw this line now. This was from before. We literally dipped into it, and guess what? We're above it right now. This is above it. So even if we close this daily right where we are now, this is flipping. This is flipping, but it's flipping to the nth degree, right? We are basically going to go rocket shoot to the next range on the daily, right? So we have a few more days to play this out because we've already cleared, like we already dipped into it. So now all we just need is some weekly and daily closures, but we will start to see this play out pretty strongly. And when we do see this move, all that's going to happen, guys, is it's just going to retest previous range lows and end up flipping them on the monthly level, right? So if I were to do this, effectively what we would see is this, right? If that continues. That's kind of what I'm foreseeing, right? Others BTC completely overtaking Bitcoin. Ethereum L2s also completely overtaking Bitcoin on the macro. Everyone is way too focused. What I like to say is market makers are like magicians, right? When you're looking at a magic trick, they show you what's right in front of you. They want you to see something. But the real trick, the real magic is actually happening in their sleight of hand. It's in their sleeve. It's something that you're not seeing, right? Price structure is the same thing. What is it when you look at the chart, when you find the coins that you like, when you drill into them, what is it you're not seeing? What is it they do not want you to see? That is what you need to focus on. Everything that is obvious, if it's too obvious to you, if everyone else sees it, then it's flat out wrong, right? I'll say it this much, right? Contrary to popular belief, it's flat out wrong. If everyone sees the same thing, market makers know that. They're going to try and abuse that, right? So enough about that. I promised you guys, since I am late, I did mention that I will go through some coins. If you guys want to post some coins in chat, let's check them out, and we can go from there. Starting with order of whoever posts first. Okay, Doge. Doge is really cool. Great recommendation and request. Doge is really cool. Now, Doge is kind of funny because it looks incredibly bearish. It looks incredibly bullish from here, right? Because of these candles. You see this cup, right? A lot of retail traders will look at this and they'll be like, oh, look, it's going to be a cup and then handle, right? Well, I say, nope, not at all. Because this weekly we didn't tip into yet. Right? We have one more level here to dip into. Now, if we make a high, and I'll even put in a single line on Doge. This is very easy. I'm going to make this super easy for you guys. If we do this, we got, I'll give you 2 lines. I'll give you 2. One here, and then one here. 32 cents. So, here's the deal. If we can make a weekly closure above 32 cents, then this teal line will not play out. We will see a new all-time high. Everyone is going to be super bullish. It'll be great, and we'll all be millionaires and getting Lambos, right? But sadly to say, this is not the truth quite yet because we have not made that weekly closure. What I'm kind of foreseeing is this structure playing out to the macro on the weekly if we tap this liquidity level at 32 and then are unable to make weekly closures above 32. If we are unable to make weekly closures above 32, guess what, guys? There's openings on the liquidity openings all the way down under 12, right? These are really the only two lines you need in this chart in my mind, because even if we go down and hit 32, the moment we start making weekly closures anywhere under 32 after tapping it, it's already confirmed bearish, right? There's absolutely no reason along, unless you're just going to scalp it for like 2 minutes, right? Sure. You want to scalp it for 2 minutes? Go for it. Knock yourself out. But this is going to be a massive friggin' wick, guys. It's going to take all this liquidity. Everyone's going to get totally messed up. And then all of a sudden, you're going to go see a wick. This low is going to be taken. Everyone's going to see this as, oh, new low from this range. I got to sell all my Dogecoin, right? But guess what? All it did was do two things. It invalidated this weekly bearish gap, and it cleared the last level, or the last low on Doge. Guess what I'm going to be doing when this happens? I'm going to be buying at 13 and under, right? Because as soon as we do that, we make any weekly closures underneath. Guess what? Then I'll take it up to $1, right? So that is what you want to see. You want to try and see that the market makers don't want you to see. So hopefully that helps. I'm not going to touch Doge. Maybe I will short it if we make weekly closures under 32. But for now, I'm not touching it. I'm just going to wait. Straight up. I'm not doing anything with this. I'll wait until this massive wick. I want to see a massive monthly red wick. As soon as we dip through and crush every single long and everyone is bearish, then I'll buy. I'll buy under 12, under 13. Hopefully that helps. Great. So Pengu. Let's do Pengu. Pith chart's fine. You know what's funny is I actually had a short on Pengu. No problem. I had a short on Pengu all the way up here. And I closed it because it was taking so long. Literally, it's just doing absolutely nothing, right? A whole load of nothing. This is literally, this structure here is just bearish. It screams bearish. It screams bearish. What are we doing? We're not making a higher high. Look at that. No higher highs here. Nothing. Has nothing to do, nothing to work with yet. We have one bearish MSB already. So what are we doing from here? Well, if you want to just follow the trend, right? Trend is your friend until the very end. Then you just move this over a little bit, right? Look at that. There's Pengu right there. If we do not make closures and break 038, guess what's going to happen? We're going to go dip again. We're going to sweep this low. Everyone's going to see this as the range low. It's going to pump up again. But then guess what? It's going to go right back down. Because we already confirmed this is the higher high, the lower high, right? Innocent until proven guilty. It is bearish until proven bullish. Has not proven bullish yet. So for now, Pengu, still great to short. If anything, I might want to short it myself again. I literally had the short up here. I think I called it in my channel. It was like I had some limits up here filled, but then it just like did a whole load of nothing. I was like in a little profits, but like it was not going very far for me. So I just closed it. But you know, now I could short it again. So sure, why not? I'll put in alert. Let's do an alert right above 3.4, which is going to come up soon. I'll do hourly. Not too bad. Great. So I want to see that. I want to see the dip above, break above 34, possibly 35, the reaction on the hourly, and then you just keep shorting, right? Easy, easy, easy peasy. Not going to get long bias on it until way under 20, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Cool. XCH. Oh. So, Chia, also one of my favorite coins. I've been telling you guys for weeks now, probably the most bullish coin in the market. Still is. I got in slightly early, 9.5, got in a little red, but you know, from this range, I risk manage, right? We anchor from this stop. We anchor from that stop. So, even though I'm a little red, did some DCA here. My average is about like, I'll pull up my average right now, actually. Where is it? Oh, I'm in profits now. I didn't realize that. I'm in profits now. But it doesn't matter because this weekly open again was not expected. I didn't want to see green. I actually didn't want to see green. I'll be honest. I literally did not want to see green from this weekly open. But I'll say that much, that all we're doing now is we're basically just invalidating this bearish weekly. So going back into this range, right? if we, in fact, I might just TP a little bit, maybe just once we go a little higher. We might go a little higher here. It doesn't matter. I might just TP a little bit here. This will be a great spot to TP. Do a little TPing action here. Because what I want to see is either the retest of flip 8.6 or the full sweep of range down to 8.3, or the monthly sweep of range down to 8, right? So here's the thing, right? As traders, we think in probabilities, right? You trade based on the probability you see in front of you. Now, what I'm seeing here are effectively 3 probabilities, right? We either bounce at the 8.6, we bounce at the 8.3, or we sweep 8. All 3 of those probabilities end up being bullish, right? Now, if we trade against those probabilities, then why not stay in the long, right? We just TP a little bit here and then just keep adding. Keep adding. If we get to the 8.6, you add there. If you get to 8.3, you add there. If you sweep 8, you add there. Because guess what? This thing is going to slingshot faster than you can say, like, holding onto your pants. Because the monthly here is basically just already confirmed. Or sorry, the weekly confirmed bullish when we actually flipped this range in the past. Even though we broke the low, this was the hint saying that it can actually sustain a move to the high. So now all it's doing here is it's clearing out every single ERL liquidity wick against this range, because the next time it moves to the high and it flips 12, it's never going to see under $10 in our history, in our lifetimes, right? Ever. And that's still the fact here, right? There's no changes with that bias. So again, I'm just going to keep loading up, add. If it dips every single time, 8.6, I'll add. 8.3, I'll add. Sweep of 8, I'll add. Because I know that we'll never see under $10 in our lifetime, right? Easy peasy. Let's see what's next. WLFI. USDT. Yes, perfect. Here we go. Awesome. Oh no, this is the pith chart, right? What's a more accurate chart? Is that a good accurate chart? Some of these charts have more price history than others, so let me just make sure I'm getting a good one here. Maybe the Binance one. Binance one is a little weird. Next B spot's a little weird as well. Perp charts. Yeah, I'll use the perp chart on Maxi. Great. So let me clean this up. I actually haven't looked at WLFI in a long time, so yeah, give me a minute here. Oops, let me just delete this. 3 hour. What do we got? Let's see. Let's start from the top. Monthly. Okay, nothing to work with there. Weekly. Oh yeah, we got something. 2 order blocks, 1 flat on the daily. 1 flat on the daily. About to flip this. Let's see. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to clean these up. Those are still valid, actually. The main range here is going to be this one now. Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. We're sitting right in the middle of it. We're actually bullish here. Whoa, wow, okay. But we have a daily close. We need the daily close now. So the daily close on the previous order block we're retesting. So yellow, really, that's the confirmation. Then we have flat right there on the daily, right? Flat on the daily, and then we have the open daily right above us. So this one's been cleared. Let's go down to the lower time frames and see if we can dial this in a little bit. Let's see. So we have a little bit of a weirdness down here. We got 1 open on the flat on the 8 hour, and then the 4. What do we have on the 4? Well, that's probably supported. Really, the only supported one would be this one. So this would be the SMR here, and then we have 1 in the internal range. So for now, I would say cautiously bullish. And sorry, I'm eating my lunch right now. I would wait. So this is the caveat here. It looks like it wants to flip this range, right? But we haven't actually closed the day above yellow, right? We haven't flipped this order block yet. So I would be cautiously optimistic with the fact that this daily ends up being swept this week, maybe from the weekly, right? Yeah, swept from the weekly, and this SMR is held. So then if that's the bias, then let's go down slightly lower. Yeah, I like that actually. We did take that. So in the next 12 hours, we got 5 hours left on this candle. I'm going to go to the 5-hour candle. We got one, and then we have a little bit of ERL down here. Little tiny bit right there. Here's the weird thing. I think what happens is we're going to go for a liquidity sweep. We're going to do a little bit of action here, maybe just like go a little higher. And then at some point, we're going to go sweep this low, but then we're going to close above it, right? Flip this, stop right at 21, retest this low, and then go straight up. Right? Go straight up to the daily. Something like that. On the internal range here. We do have this one on the 4. I think that's a 4. There's a 5-hour open. There's a 8-hour. This 8 hour is fully not cleared yet. What was it I was seeing? It was a 2-hour or something, maybe a 5. Whatever. Somewhere up here, between here, right? There's your TPs, and then you have like another one up here. It won't go, maybe it won't go straight up, but effectively it would be something like this. It would be like, I'll clean this up a little. Let's clean this chart up slightly. Here's the pathing I would expect to see, followed by a retest of this range, and then a continuation to the daily, right? There is WLFI. Hopefully that helps. This is a great long if we sweep this low, right? I want to see this low swept, and then the closure above yellow. For now, what I'll do is I'll do a daily alert. I'm going to do a daily against 20. So if we do a greater than bar close on WFI long confirmed 1 day, right? That's the only alert I think I care about right now, because if we do sweep this is going to be great. You could put limits down here. I'll be honest, this is not even a bad idea if you want to put limits down here on the break of 20, right under 20 possibly, but you're going to have to use like a soft stop all the way down at like 13 cents. Otherwise, I would just wait, because whatever wick gets created from this liquidity sweep, you could anchor against that and then take another entry on the long, right? And then just hold it, right? Hold it straight up to 23, 24, 26, possibly around here somewhere. Then we'll start to see some sort of rejection again, some major one. We could go back all the way down to 20 from there, but that's a good level to risk against, is kind of the idea, right? Awesome. So let's keep going. What else you guys got? ETH, short-term trades and long-term investment if possible for Ethereum. Okay, that's a great question. Surfer, Dollar Surfer. I love that name, Dollar Surfer. It's almost like Silver Surfer, like you're like a superhuman, right? But you're surfing dollars instead of, I don't know, surfing silver. I guess you could surf silver too, because silver's doing pretty good, but you know, that's another story. We're doing crypto, not commodities. Okay, weekly. Let's start with the weekly. Weekly. Yeah. Ooh. Talk about a bullish weekly right now. Holy smokes, right? This one, I mean, this is a clear bounce of a weekly order block here at this point, right? Everywhere here, we basically flipped this entire weekly right here, right when we bounced and then closed above. So the question is, from this range, where'd we go? Short term and long term. Let's start from there. Short term, we got ERL to the highs. ERL to the highs. Oof. This is, I don't know if this is going to stop anytime soon. Possibly take the high one more time. Yeah. Take the high one more time, and then from the re-range, we're going to go like this. We're going to go up. Oops, why am I typing? I'm typing to that, whatever. Go up, and then back to range balance and continue, or go up and then retest previous order blocks below 42 and continue. But at this point, I would expect both. I would expect both to continue. Oh, sorry, my dog's going crazy in the background. So long term, I could see ETH doing way beyond 6K, right? At this point in the monthly, we did flip this. This is a weekly flip. So considering this is a weekly flip, and considering, as I mentioned, we are in the process of having Ethereum flip Bitcoin, what I would say is keep longing, right? Keep longing alts, keep longing Ethereum. Ethereum, I'm going to say consolidates before alts continue, but we want to see some range retest here. We already clocked in a higher low, so this is flipped already. So in terms of longs, I would say just like, short terms keep longing, right? And then long term keep longing, right? Take small profits along the way at very key levels, right? We want to see above 5K again. Take a small profit at above 5K next time you see it. And then look to add back in under 4.4. And that would be the range that we would want to see from there. So if we can get somewhere in this range, and I'll make this a little nicer so that we can see it more cleanly, what we want to see here is we want to see the break of the high and then a possible retest of balance and then a continuation, right? I am not going to worry about doing main TPs. Like I wouldn't even, if you're in a long, I'm actually not in ETH at all. I'm not exposed to it. I don't have spot. I don't have futures or anything. But if you are, if I was, I would be adding in under 4.48 and TPing somewhere in the 6K range, between 6.6 and 6. Between 6 and 6.6 as the range for it. Once we get there, that is a good spot to reassess your long term. But for the most part, again, since this is a weekly flip, I would always leave a runner, right? Considering this is a weekly flip, the extensions we can do on this can easily go upwards of 10K, easily. Those are conservative. 6K is a conservative target for a TP. Again, if ETH BTC is also flipping, then this is going to be something where literally ETH would just be a buy the dip scenario, right? Every single time we go a little bit lower, it would be a buy the dip scenario, and we would not have very many dips. Like you would have minor. It would be very kind of best described as like low volatility, right? The dips you would see would bring us down just a little bit, followed by a continuation to the highs. And that's pretty much that. So hopefully that helps, answers your question. Oh, good. I'm seeing some excellent requests here. Let me see what next one. Sui. Let's see. Ah, yes, Sui. This one is a little funky. Little funky. Yeah. Okay, so we got order blocks. Here's the weird thing. I'll say this much. In this range, when we broke back in August of 2024, little history lesson here. When we broke this low, if this structure was to retain a bullish bias in a consistent manner, then what it would have needed to do when it retraced to 2, or when it bounced to 2, right? This initial move right here is this low would have needed to bounce this weekly, right? We never did that. We actually flipped it and then continued. Now, if I draw the actual long bias on the weekly here, you notice how none of these levels were hit. This weekly was never unmitigated, right? Or sorry, it was never mitigated. It was never tapped. Now, that tells me the hint of price action from this order block. This weekly was actually a manipulation. It wasn't an accumulation, right? It was a manipulation of retail, where pumping the highs because everyone expected this to happen, but it didn't, right? We don't always get what we want. I would consider Sui quite bearish here. incredibly bearish here on the weekly. Everything on the higher time frames on SUI tells me that we are basically just going to do a retrace of this quarterly wick. And if we do not clear this range here, right here, I'll put these on the chart as well. If we do not clear these, or if we clear these and then take the high, then really what's going to end up happening is the next weekly candle on SUI is going to end up crushing through this entire range. So really there's two probabilities here. There's this one where we flip 4 or somewhere around 4, or we flip this high, right? And then make any, and we're not able to make any weekly closures above orange, right? This is kind of the spot. Orange is the spot that we need to flip. If we cannot get a weekly closure above here, then it becomes, and the longer we're unable to make a weekly closure above orange, the worse SUI is, right? Every week that goes by. So really, it's kind of a matter of time before we see something like this happen. If you want to, I personally would short it. I actually would at this point. This is a very clean short. And anywhere above 3.5, this is actually what I would refer to as a premium, right? Where prices are at the high and you want to sell at, right? So we are approaching very, 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 very high premium on this. And if we cannot close this weekly above 4.2 or 4.3, then we're going to see a weekly candle that just crushes all the way down, right? So be careful if you have SUI. If you're taking a long, great. Right now, fine, you can go for these highs, but once we start getting in, this is the danger zone for me. Everywhere in here is the danger zone. So that is that. Let's see, what else? XPL. Oh yes, we are in it. I literally just posted an XPL. XPL looks great from here. I think I have it. Yeah, here it is. We're manipulating the highs right now. This is not even. I'm not even that worried. But what I would expect is the continued manipulation of the highs. If we cannot make a higher high from here, we still gonna go down into these levels on 8. So I want to see something like this, right? And then a continuation. So nothing will happen with this until we break this high at 103, $1.03. Until then, I'm in a light long. I'm light. My average is 9.3. I probably should TP a little bit. I think my average is a little too high, but I have limits, a bunch of limits stacked down here. I posted on my channel a little like metric buttload of limits down here, for lack of better words. If we can get this range and then the sweep, this long is going to be really, really nice to see the high again, right? Until then, I'm just keeping it light, right? Keep it light. I want to see the break of 82 cents right down here, 82. So I'm going to start TPing on long soon. Excellent. JJ, BTC 126K. I don't know if that's a question or a statement. It is at 126K, yes. Oh, yes, great. Don't FOMO, guys, period. End of sentence. Don't FOMO. I still see it coming under to 120. Maybe later this week. Maybe next week. But it's doing it. It's going to do it. Link. Would you look at that? Oh, funny. So Link here. Link is quite nice here. We do have two. We're literally hitting. I literally drew this up back in September. I haven't looked at it since then. This retracement wasn't as deep as I expected, but the theory is the same, right? That the concept is the same. We either do not make a higher high from this range because we actually already supported a bearish delivery back here in August, or we sweep the entire range and then go back down again, right? It's coming. There's something that's coming. It's gonna bring Link back down under $15. That'll be my buy. For now, I'm just chilling. I'm not doing much with Link here. Maybe I'll short it, but you know, this range is a little weird, right? I don't wanna do too much here. I mean, maybe if, yeah, actually here, the lower time frames, we could do a long, right? But once you get above like 24, it becomes danger zone, right? Somewhere in this range, we're going to start to see some heavy rejection, heavy rejection. Between 23 and 27, the best spot is just either, if you're long, you could scalp your long up there. If not, I would just wait till we get up there and then you can short it, right? Any other questions? Nothing? You guys know everything. Excellent. Linea, oh yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Yeah. Linea has all of the signs of a manipulation about to happen. We are bouncing off this range. And yeah, we dipped a little lower, but I mean, I'm still holding. If we can hold this range on the daily, this is one of those things that will manipulate the high. We actually flipped this on the daily already. So this alert I can delete. This alert I can delete. If anything, I might want to add actually, because this is going to fill out on the daily, and it's going to end up filling out on the daily. Let's see where we do just have this right here. I do not like that. Daily close. Yeah, we could do it in one candle though. That's the weird part about it. We just need to close this candle right where we are now, and then if we sweep these equal lows, we could either sweep these equal lows and then bounce, or we could bounce right at this 8 hour. There's like two spots. It's kind of a little too tight here, but I would say in both cases we're basically going to go up, right? I'm swinging this still. My average is not the best, but you know, when structure supports it, it really doesn't matter, right? So structure here does support it. You could do, let's see, the 4 has it open, and what's this here? Yeah, that is actually, oh yeah, that's supported here even. That is supported here. And the 3. Yeah, 3, 4, 4 is open. So yeah, really there's like 2 levels here. We basically want to see something like this. Here's the thing, a lot of the market's showing very similar structure where we might just do something where we just do like maybe a sweep of this high. This 4 hours open right here. Invalidate that. I'll clean up some of these PDAs here. Don't need all of them. Yeah, I'm going to hold the long because I think we're going to fill out this wick here, the high time frame one, right? But I think what'll be nice is actually doing one of two things, and I'm probably call this on my channel too. If we tap this and sweep, this is a pretty good long right there, right? Tap the IRL, sweep the ERL, and then right back, right? That's pretty good right there. If we sweep the high, or if we don't sweep the high, either way, I would see us coming back down here at some point, even if it's a consolidation. This is pretty good as well. Oh no, that would be something like this. It would be like 1 and then tap, and then flip. Yeah, flip right here. Something like that, really. But I do see us going back down a little bit. So possibly going to do some TPing probably by the end of the day myself on some of the longs. Tiny TPs, right? And then add some compound orders because we want to basically just add in when that wick goes down there. We want to add back in. Maybe put a TP order on there on the 003 and then the high time frame ones as well. Melania, Melania, yes, I think that's another request here. Oh, wow. Is this, wait a second, is this the actual one? This is the actual one, right? Let me just make sure because I know there's I know I had this one on. This is 1861. Oh yeah, it's about the same. Wow, okay. Yes, 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 yes. Melania looks amazing here, actually. I was watching Melania a while ago, but now looks even better. Wait a second, let me just look at the... Yeah, that looks pretty good. We got a bullish supported range here. We got some dailies. Ooh, we got a daily back in range here. Interesting. Yep. See, I was just friggin' early, I swear. I was like, I knew what Melania was going to move and do something here, but it was just not quite there yet. But now we're getting close. We got one on the daily here. And then we have a range low, right? So two range lows here, we'd probably end up flipping. I'll put those in yellow. Two of the previous range lows. This is great because what we're going to see here is we're going to see this flip and the retest on this range is just going to end up being wider and wider and wider, right? And then the wider range. Something like that. Yeah, Melania. Melania's going to be cooking. I don't know what she's doing, but something's going to happen. Pretty bullish on Melania. Any others? Griffane, yes. So I have the Griffane spot chart here. Griffane also going to be doing the same thing. We are reclaiming a high time frame range, guys. Whoa. This is going to look good. Big pumping. Big pumping in coming up. I think I put it in, but I did close it too early. But I think I want to get back in on this one, bringing us back up to like at least 7 cents, if not more. 7 retest, and then maybe all the way up to 10 after. Something like that. Orange, I would expect Griffane to play out. Right? I'm gonna try and get into this again. This one was really nice. This one was really nice. Ondo. Oh yeah, Sol. Yeah, Sol. I'll do Sol. I'll do Ondo, and then we'll keep it going from there. Sol. So Sol, I'm actually short here. It's kind of a little weird because on the monthly and the quarterly, we already closed below, right? We closed below this previous order block here back in January and April. So this is what I see as like a monthly and a quarterly retest of this previous quarterly wick, right? So I'm still a little bearish on Sol here. If we start to see weekly closes under 220, then it's confirmed. But right now I'm really, really light. I'm in a short. I'm really, really light. I expect orange to play out. If we can just like consolidate and do absolutely nothing for a little bit, then basically orange would play out. And we would basically see under $30 in the high time frame, or under 80, like between 80 and 30 on the high time frame. So for now, just keeping it very light. I have a manual stop, but I'm sized such that when my liquidation number is all the way at like 1,400, all the way up here, right? So very, very far, very, very light position on a short. And yeah, that is that. The long, I mean, I wouldn't long it here because again, it's kind of in a short bias zone. It's going to be if you're longing, it's going to be very choppy. So I wouldn't long it here. I would just be looking to short. So hopefully that helps. Very choppy range there. Okay, Ondo. I did not do Ondo, but let's do Ondo and then let's do STBL because that was also requested as well. Interesting. Ondo here. This is actually strangely bearish. We'd have to clear this, all of this range here, and then we have this monthly open down here. We're retesting this monthly. So if we can't close above in the next 25 days, if we can't close above yellow in the next 25 days, we're going straight down. Now, where does that leave us in this range? Technically speaking, we could clear this range higher, but the moment we start to do weekly closures underneath, that would invalidate. So let's refresh this slightly, considering there is one weekly right here that's open, and we do have equal highs. This would have to be an impulse wick, then. This would have to be interesting. We'd have to flip $1. So I think for now, I'm neutral on it. I don't want to take a position. Oh, Khan. Hey, what's up, man? Been a long time since I've seen you, Khan. Good to see you again. Welcome. So I was going to say the main thing here is I want to see this. I probably wouldn't do anything with Ondo until we do two things here. We need to tap 1.28 and then flip $1, right? That's really the only way I would stay bullish on this. Otherwise, this is really neutral to me on the monthly and everything else. This is very neutral. We have smooth liquidity really tightly packed on the monthly right below us. These wicks are also very smooth right here, right above us. So it is kind of a little weird, a weird spot to be in. And if we draw the range from the monthly high to the monthly no, we are actually, we're in discount. So longs are generally more preferred here, but I wouldn't do anything quite yet because I want to see a confirmation break of this range. And and then a retest of this range. Once we go back into $1, if we start to make daily closes after, then I'll buy. I'll aim for 170, right? Until then, I'm not gonna do anything with Ondo. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Let's look at STBL, and then I got to run. Well, this is pretty obvious. Wow, yeah, this is pretty obvious. Higher high, fail to make a higher high on the 4 hour, and then flip this, right? So we flip this, and the 3 hour ends up becoming bullish. The 4 hour ends up becoming bearish, right? So we see one market maker buy into a market maker sell. I'll draw it out for you guys. Something like this. 40, 43 roughly. There you go. STBL, very choppily bullish. Very choppy. Very choppily bullish here. Up until we get above 36. Once we get above 36, 37, it's going to be bearish. Possibly going back all the way down to 14. Right? Easy peasy. That's a good move actually for a short. So until then, I wouldn't really do much. The short is high probability if we tap that range and close underneath. The long from this range is medium probability because it's a lower time frame one. But yes, bullish, right? Bullish into this week up until 37. Okay, great. Oh, yes. Okay, I'll do one more, the VRA, and then I literally have to run. I'll do VRA real quick, and then I do have to run. No problem, Meta Knight. Let's see. Oh, wow. This is the buy zone. Wow, this is great. This is flipping this range here. This is great. We are making a higher consolidation right now. So weekly wise, what you want to see is literally just, I'll make it super simple for you. Like this is the easiest thing possible. I'm bullish here, and I'm even more bullish when you start to see closures above, on the weekly above 001. Because then what we see here is the draw is going to end up being 016 and 0019. So let me draw this out, right? We have here, here, and here. It's going to basically wick into all of these levels though. So just be careful. If you don't set TPs, then I would highly advise setting TPs, because what'll probably end up happening is when we see this pulse, this wick up, it'll wick up to the high. It'll take those highs and reclaim that range, and it will keep doing it on every single range, between every single range high, right? So something like that, and then the next weekly is all the way up at 4, right? So VRA, pretty bullish on, right? Something like that. Cool. Well, hopefully it helps. My DMs are always open. Hit me up, and have a good Monday. Remember, stay green, and catch you all later. Thanks again.